Call this meeting. Read the Metro ordinance required at all board meetings. So pursuant to provisions of 2.68.030 of the Metropolitan Code of Laws, please take notice that decisions of the Nashville Public Library Board may be appealed to the Chancery Court of Davidson County for review under common law or writ of certiorari. Any appeal must be filed within 60 days after entry of a final decision by the board. Any person or other entity considering an appeal should consult with an attorney to ensure that time and procedural requirements are met. And on public comments, now, our attorney is not here yet, but he has advised me that we must begin to comply with the public comment ordinances. And so what we did was today to print that on the agenda, and I will read it. So pursuant to TCA of 8-44-12, time is reserved at the beginning of the library board meetings for which there is an actionable item on the agenda for public comment germane to items on the agenda. Up to 5 people will be allowed up to 3 minutes each to speak. Students, that's what time frame I'm in. Students, I'm attending an all-day Tennessee Independent Colleges and University Association meeting down the street at the Tennessee Tower, so kind of my brain is still there. I'm sorry. So speakers must register within 1/2 hour prior to the beginning of the meeting by signing their name on a physical sign-up sheet available at the entrance and identifying any agenda item on which they intend to comment. So we have 3 people who have signed in, and Mr. Johnson has asked to speak on remarks by Mayor O'Connell. Is Mr. Johnson available? Mr. Johnson, since the remarks have not been made yet, I'm wondering how the remarks will be made.
Well, I'm not really sure what mayor is going to be speaking on, but I just have mayoral questions, policy piece, and maybe the mayor could address those as well.
About policy?
Yeah.
So I'm wondering how.
Ban books.
And ban books. So your agenda items say you are making remarks on the mayor's remarks, and that's why I'm wondering, since we have not heard his remarks yet, how you.
I'll be glad to defer my remarks until after the mayor makes his remarks.
The problem is that the problem I'm having is that the way this is written, we have to reserve the time at the beginning of the library board meeting. This
will only take 5 minutes for me to make my
5 minutes, okay. Well, we only allowed up to 3 minutes.
3 minutes?
And I have to, well, I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll wait until the attorney comes to make a final decision on it. But at this time, I think we just will not allow the comments because, again, you're saying that you are addressing the mayor's remarks when those remarks have not been made.
That's the only thing that was general enough on the agenda for me to be able to put my game out at all.
Thank you, and thank you. And Ms. Boobert, where's Ms. Boobert? Same with the director's report. I'm just wondering what they speak to since we have not heard that report.
These comments are regards to, thank you, Forrest. So fast. These comments are regards to library operations, which is what the director covers in her director report.
The library operations. Okay. Well, we'll allow that. We'll hit the 3 minutes.
I'm good?
Yes. And if I get slapped on my hand by attorneys, I'll let you all know that.
So Derek, just 1 second. Derek is on his way, but he
okay. All right. Okay.
Okay.
We have a timer. Susan will be our timer.
You got it. Okay. All right. Lisa Bubert, speaking on behalf of the unionized workers here at MPL. So we urge the board to move the library toward finding a permanent director. It's previously mentioned that other departments are operating with an interim director.
Let me stop you because that's not on our agenda.
I'm going into the operations part of it.
Okay.
Okay. I just want to show the trickle-down effect of an interim directorship. So as Terry fills the role of interim director, Jenna Schmid has now taken on her duties as Assistant Director of Branch Services. Kyle Barber has taken on Jenna's duties as Assistant Director of the Main Library, and it's not clear who's taken on the duties of Adult Services Manager at Main. It's still Kyle. Kyle's requested and been granted a transfer to manage the Edmondson Pike branch, which has been without a manager since September. Jenna's currently office there. A similar but very dire situation has unfolded with the Bellevue and Bordeaux branches. Bellevue has been without a manager since December 27th, 2022. Bordeaux manager Annie Herlocker has requested and been granted a transfer to Bellevue, but cannot complete her transfer until a manager is found for Bordeaux, and hiring for that position is proving to be impossible. In the meantime, regional managers from other locations have been sharing the burden of checking in on the branches that do not have managers. Angela at Southeast and Emily at Hermitage are both handling operations at Bellevue best they can. Emily has a manager vacancy in her Hermitage cluster at Old Hickory, which means she's covering that branch, Bellevue, and now an additional branch in her cluster. And of course, these managers can't be everywhere all at once, so it is the staff at all of these locations who are handling the day-to-day managerial duties, setting schedules, handling customer complaints, managing staff workflow, managing interpersonal issues, managing safety and security issues, all for months, in one case for over a year, with no extra compensation for their interim duties. Every time an interim duty is placed on a leader at a higher level, the staff below them are required to take on more tasks to compensate and simply keep the library running. The longer it takes to hire managers and administrators into permanent positions, the longer staff at lower, less compensated levels run a hamster wheel to keep up, and we have been doing this since August of 2022. And on a personal note, it grieves me to think about what we've lost in this library since the pandemic. Civil Rights and Civil Society is no more after Andrea Blackman's departure. The mentoring program, Odyssey NPL, which was pioneered by Helen Sanders, who also left the library, is stalled, replaced with Zoom webinars. We no longer have a system-wide programming coordinator, which makes it really hard for branches to properly plan system-wide initiatives, such as Black History Month, Summer Reading. Salon 615 is dead. We cannot continue to operate like this.
Thank you. 3 minutes, and you're going to be timed. Thank you so much.
I'm here as a private citizen, taxpayer, property owner, and a patron of the public library. I have my I Read Banned Books card.
Awesome. Thank you.
Which is really the subject of what I want to speak about. I don't know what the banned books are. And I would like to suggest that a list of the banned books be posted somewhere in every branch library with an explanation as to why they're banned, whether it's by statute, by ordinance, or by some other policy decision by the board. Because I don't know if I've ever read a banned book or not. The minutes of the board meetings, I'm assuming those are public records and accessible. And I'd like to know how to obtain copies of those board minutes. And the person responsible for administering the banned book policy, I was advised I should call the Department of Marketing and Communication. And I tried to call that 3 times during the week and on 3 separate days. And I did not get a voicemail, did not get an answer. At one point, the phone rang for 7 minutes. So I'm asking the board to direct me to the appropriate administrative official to get this information.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And Mr. Hardin, as much as I hate to say this, Donna's a personal friend, but you say that you're addressing the director position, and that is not on our agenda today. Well, you put down that you are addressing the director position, and we're not addressing that on our agenda today. Okay, so I apologize. Okay, so next on our agenda is we want to welcome Mayor Freddie O'Connell. Thank you. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good afternoon, everyone. Board members, staff, community members, thank you for the opportunity to address this board and for the important work that you do in the city. Libraries connect people to information, increasingly to their communities and each other. We're so fortunate in Nashville to have access to an outstanding library system, including this one. I will say on a personal note, I am fortunate both to have grown up with the Nashville Public Library and now to watch my two daughters learn in large part a combination of things. We are a proud Metro Schools family. They thrive in our public school system, but they've also been raised on wishing chair productions and many of the materials in this stack. In fact, we just watched them compete in the recent Lego contest. My 6-year-old daughter is learning to read and has great resources in her school library, but also here. Every time I see her eyes light up over a new success, something new she learned, I think about the gratitude I have for the teachers and librarians who have turned on new lights and joined us in introducing her to new worlds. Tonight, the Metro Council will consider our proposed capital spending plan. We released it a few weeks ago, and one of those priorities in that plan is strengthening our library system. We believe that the deferred maintenance that is evident in certain parts of the system are being addressed by the capital we're proposing to allocate. We're putting our money where our people are, in our neighborhoods, and taking steps to ensure that Nashvillians know their government is responsive to their needs. Our libraries, parks, schools, and roads are community assets that bring us together, enriching a shared pride we have in our home. So I know that everybody here today has tremendous pride in the library system, the impact it has on children and lifelong learners, and I am here as mayor asking that this board set aside the challenges of leadership transition for now. I'm asking this board to come together under the shared passion for learning and the board's direct decision on the director. And so for the library, the board of directors, like many of our board or commission-led departments, is the appointing authority for the top position. And the board approved Terry Luke as interim director in November. I support that decision. I think for many of us, including me, the search process didn't unfold the way we had expected, but I have full confidence in Terry as interim director, and we are not conducting a new search at this time. I want to thank Terry for her work and her leadership during a challenging time. She has my full faith and confidence. She will remain the interim director of this department as voted by the board. A title of interim doesn't mean we don't address operational facilities or staffing issues at general services. Velvet Hunter has just completed a multi-year period as one of Metro's longest interim directors, and we are very excited about Gerald Smith stepping into that role as permanent director. But under Velvet's leadership, we made fleet improvements. General Services continued to build and maintain multiple buildings and maintain the confidence of staff. So I want to thank the candidates and everybody on the board for participation in this process and passion for your work. Transition is never easy. But this search has gone on for a long time, and we get to take a break from that process to follow its legal conclusion and to move on to the work at hand under Terry's leadership. The full committee has acknowledged the board's November vote to conclude the previous search and affirm that Terry Luke will serve as interim director with full responsibilities and authority until the next search is launched. And I know she'll continue to bring excellence to our library system during her tenure. Thank you, Terry. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Thank you so very much for being here today. That means a lot to us. We want to thank you for putting that deferred maintenance in the budget. Thank you so much.
Talk to your favorite council member tonight.
And I'm proud to say that I know that each one of the members of this board is proud to sit around this board table today and be entrusted with this responsibility. You know, we know that the library system is one of the greatest of Nashville's treasures. And I think we're all aware of what the responsibility is that has been placed on our shoulders to make difficult decisions, to ensure that the Nashville Public Library stays one of the finest libraries. I say just not the country, but the world. It's what we want it to be. So we have so many nationally recognized programs at this library, inside and outside the library's walls, because we don't confine our programs to the walls. And all of that is made possible by this staff and what their devotion is to further literacy for all ages and for every corner of this city. So I just want to applaud them because we owe them a great deal of thanks. I want to thank all of you. Thank all of you. So the mayor, you touched on something that I also want to talk about today in the chair's comments, because for over a year, we had a long and drawn out process for a search committee, for a search firm, and then went into the search process. And it, as you said, it didn't end the way any of us expected. At the conclusion of that process, the board as a whole and two of us individually were publicly maligned. The accusations were both unfair and untrue, and as research and as our own members' experiences and wisdom reinforce the fact that we all know that diversity is essential to ensure that organizations can best thrive, and that's the only way to be innovative. So I mention the accusations now because I really hope that that's behind us. I hope we will heed your directive to give our full support to the interim director as we continue to seek excellence in all that each individual who works for the library does and all that we do for the library as a system. So I can't thank you enough for coming today to join us. I know that you're going around to all of the boards and commissions. So I just want to thank you for joining us today and for all that you do. Thank you.
Yeah, sure.
You can stay as long as you like.
Wish I could. But I do have an appointment out at the airport.
Okay, at the airport. Get there on time. Today, then, we also have next on the agenda approval of our November 16th minutes as amended.
So moved.
Is there a second to that motion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Thank you. Motion approved. And the December 12th minutes as well.
Yeah, we had that the other day. So moved.
We have a motion by Jarvis, second by, I keep have to say, instead of Roz, I have to make myself say Roz, because I asked her that question last time, so I go with her preference, Rosalind. Thank you. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? All right, thank you. All right, we have been advised that Nadine is trying to get in here. She has to park and everything, and I'm so thankful for that deferred maintenance because it's creating a problem for us, as we can see, demonstrable today. We can't get here, we can't park. Next, report from my interim director, Terry.
Good afternoon, everyone. So the first thing I wanted to mention in looking over our board report is that you will notice that for the first time in a very long time since the pandemic, some of our statistics are down. And the reason for that is if you look at it closely, we were closed for Monday in honor of Dr. Martin Luther King until the following Monday. That is 7 operational days, and that's really impacted, especially because the libraries weren't open for programming. So if you notice, if that line is the one that looks most negative, and also, but at the same time, all of our ebooks and audio went up and has been going up anyways, but there was a significant, Noel sent us our manager of collections after that week to make sure that we were aware of that. I do want to say that I know that Lisa mentioned about the manager 3 positions that are vacant. I want to speak to that. So we have reposted the manager 3 position 3 times. it is getting very difficult to get candidates. This is our highest level manager in branch services before you get to be an assistant director. So it is really, you're looking for experience, not just in public libraries, but you're also looking for experience managing a large number of people, but also other managers, because a regional manager manages two other or one other location. So Jenna Schmidt and I are meeting with Sherry Adams this Thursday because the leadership team talked last Monday, and then based on the input, we have a plan that Jen and I are going to talk with Sherry about implementing to fill all three of those positions. So it has been a long time and it has been difficult, but part of this is isn't the trickling down of the interim positions. It is the reality of trying to hire in Nashville. So, and I will speak to the other things at another time, but that was the one that I wanted to make sure that you knew, because we have dedicated 3 rounds of interviews to try to fill that position. The other thing I wanted to talk about was tonight, Joyce and I will be attending both the committee and the council meeting for her reappointment to the board. I want to say, from my perspective, it has been an honor working with Joyce during my term as interim director. She even picks up the phone on Saturday when I need to talk to her. And I just also appreciate all her years of service to the Nashville Public Library.
Thank you.
The other thing, tomorrow is the Minority Caucus reception, so Joyce and I will be attending this special event at the Meharry Medical College tomorrow evening. The other pieces I'd like to update you on are a couple of facility items, but also an update on the budget. So for 4% funding, we usually receive 3 quarterly allocations. They call it quarterly, but we really get 3. So we received our first one, and it was just approved by the board, and that is for $1.675 million. That is up from the same time last year, and that was for maintenance, which we really need. But at the same time, we were concerned because this also is a time when we usually get a collection distribution. So we went back to, Susan and I went back to the mayor's office, and they are recommending $2 million for the second quarter and $2 million for the third quarter, which will be a total of $4 million, which is the highest amount that we would have received for collections in at least 10 years. So we're excited about that. Yay. So
Good work.
thank you. Well, I think, Noelle has done some really good work to show how we compare to other library systems, and I think not only that, but also the fact that the e-books are it's skyrocketing, and our use is also doubling. I think I spoke to that last time, that over 50% of our circulation is in e, and so hopefully they'll continue to support us at that level or above. So we have 4% funding. Then, of course, the mayor talked about capital spending plan. It is really exciting that he is recommending the renovation funding for both the Green Hills and the Hermitage branches. Somebody asked me why these 2 libraries. They are 23 years old, and they were the next in line for a renovation according to our master facilities plan. Also, these are Green Hills is number 1 in terms of circulation of materials, and Hermitage is number 4, so they see a lot of traffic. So we're really excited. I don't know, Susan's going to be pretty busy if this passes council, but the other, she's ready. We'll open Donaldson, and then she'll turn her attention to that. The other part was that they are recommending the design development costs for both Hadley Park and Richland Park. That is huge because we have not received design development funding since Donaldson. And so if we can, if we're able to build these 2 libraries next, of course, this is for design development, then we'll have to go back and ask for the building funds. But this is a start. Normally we don't get these unless we're going to be moving forward. I'm seeing head shaking. Did I remember everything? Okay. All right. So so if we move on to the operating budget, during the snow, I sent a list of everything that we are asking for in the operating budget. On February 9th, Susan hit the send button and submitted our FY25 request to the mayor's office. Next Wednesday, we will also be doing a presentation to the mayor's office, which includes finance and representation across the mayor's office about operating. So we're working on a presentation for that, and we'll be ready to go. And we do expect that we cut back on the number of items that we were going to ask for because it looks like there could be, across the board, like stay, we're not expecting a lot of increases, but we wanted to make sure that we asked for the things we thought we most needed. And the leadership team, we went through a process of hearing what each department, assistant director needed, and then we voted. And so we submitted that with our justification last week.
May I ask a question
Yes.
real quickly here? Is it, just remind me, is it when you present at the mayor's office and at council that we normally go and show support, or just the council? Or
Just council.
Just council, okay.
So the mayor's office is actually a WebEx meeting, and they allow an hour for us to really talk about justifying our request during that time. And also, at the same time, last week, we submitted our budget equity tool, which is to demonstrate how these asks are related to providing more equity across the city.
And you don't know the council date yet?
It's usually the middle of May, but we haven't gotten a specific date.
So the 4 million from the 4% fund, is that all collections or that's part of the maintenance?
So the first installment that we just got is all maintenance, the 1.675. Then in the second quarter and the third quarter, they're recommending the 2 million and 2 million. But then, of course, I always say that with hesitancy because it also has to go to council. So,
But that's those second two are all collections.
collections, yes.
Which cycle of funding does the root system going into the parking lot address? Which cycle? I mean,
Well-
where are we spending funds from which budget cycle?
Okay, we have received some, I apologize.
That's okay.
We received maintenance funds in fiscal year '23 for this, and it's sitting out there waiting for us. We've used a little of it, obviously, we've dug up a little bit, but there's $5 million to do this. We're hoping it will be enough.
Okay. But that came out of, you saying 23 funds?
It came out of fiscal
Oh, so we have-
'23
so
funds,
we
it
have
was
to spend
allocated,
it.
yes.
Okay. Okay.
It's just taken a really long time to get contractors that would even agree to do the work. So we should have a report in the next couple of weeks.
Okay.
On more about what they found, because you see that they've dug up the courtyard.
We are making progress.
Yes.
It's just slow progress.
Okay. We trust you.
So, the manager 3 searches, what have you found is the biggest deterrent? Are you not finding the talent that applies? Is it salary levels? Is it
So
perks from the library? I mean, where do you need help?
Sure. So when you go back to 5 years ago when I started in branch services and I was interviewing for those positions, we received applications across the country. There was diversity in those applications, and we didn't have any issues filling those positions. I think as we look across and see the applications now is that we're just not receiving the number that we received in the past. And so we don't get even to the point of asking somebody, is it because of the salary? I think it's also the cost to live in Nashville. If you're a single person coming to try to live here in the city, I think that has an impact. And so, it's almost similar to getting the applications for the library director position as well. I came from Wake County, and about a month ago, I actually had a call from their community service director who hires for that position, and he is responsible for filling the job that was vacated in August of last year. And very similar, they received 30 applications. They interviewed initially 8, went down to 5, and they did not have, and they are starting the search over again. So I don't think that this is unique just to Nashville.
I think it's
Think
happening.
through where the solutions are.
Well, again, we're going to have to be innovative, creative, because we're having the same issues with hiring at universities and student recruitment for universities. A lot of it has to do with, again, where you live, housing, in this area, and some of it we are finding has to do with legislation, Tennessee legislation. That's what the comments are, so.
So I think we also have to think about internal and building
Yes.
that pipeline.
Yes, pipeline. Absolutely.
Because the trend is not going to reverse
Quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so on Monday at the leadership team meeting a week ago, we did talk about, if you would promote somebody from within that is going from a manager 1 to a manager 3, what support would we need to give that person to be able to do that? So those are some of the things that Sherry and I will be talking about on Thursday. So we've come up with a plan that we think will work. But again, even making sure that our internal staff are interested in those
Good.
positions.
Good. Any more questions?
Yes. Earlier you mentioned ebooks. I want to talk about the other digital resources, such as LinkedIn Learning or such as the New York posts or times that the library is using. Is there a way we could get information on the utilization of those products? I'm just really curious about that.
I'll let Lee answer that.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. That'd be great. Maybe in the next report, that would be great, because I'm really curious, because there are a lot of services that, like in my situation, for example, since I'm in a temporary handicap situation, I bring the library to my home, using those resources to help me accomplish some of the personal goals that I have to make me a better citizen here in Nashville. But it would be great to see if other people are using it, and that way it would let me know as a board member, maybe I need to go out to my connections and say, hey, we need more people to utilize. For example, take advantage of getting a free copy of the New York Times, or using LinkedIn Learning, to help advance their goals as well.
Absolutely. Our statistics do show that they are being used and well used. If you note, circulation was one trend that was actually up last month, but I'll be happy to get you those statistics, and it's always good to promote library resources.
Because I'm sure all of us here, what I do, people say, the libraries, nobody goes to a library. People aren't reading books anymore. And I go through the litany of other services we have, but I don't think there are enough ways to make that a succinct message that we can use. Everybody in this room loves the library. We're not the audience. We need the people who are not as interested to know what we have.
Yes.
And that then helps the citizens help us.
And when you go back to LinkedIn Learning, that it was unavailable for a while because of the new procurement process, and we definitely heard from people that use it because they weren't able to access it. So we're back to that. So if there's none other questions about the budget, just 2 quick updates on.
She's finally here. Great. Thank you. Welcome.
You're going to fly next time.
Probably would get here quicker. So 2 updates on branches that have been closed. The update on the Edge Hill branch is that we originally were told that it would be 2 weeks, and it has been over 4 weeks, because once they got in there, there are clay pipes because the building is old, and so now those repairs are. You want to go ahead?
Yeah, what happened was it's a 70-year-old building, and it has 70-year-old pipes. We had to basically switch out the pipes between the toilets and the street. That takes time. They had to dig up all 3 of the toilets, all 3 of the restrooms. One is operational, sort of. The other 2 still do not have toilets in them. So we have ordered the tile. Hopefully it'll be here soon. We keep pressing them, letting them know we've got to get this branch reopened, but we can't do it without the restroom. So hopefully it will be within the next week or so. Trying. So.
I'm in Edgehill. The having the library director over there, the manager of that branch, to send out regular notices to the neighborhood is really helping. Because if we have a listserv through the neighborhood, so people are, it adds to what already was good communications. Because they're doing a fabulous job over there.
Well, Ashley is great. And
so if they would keep informing people about what's what, because everybody understands. You just need to know.
So hopefully we have new pipes. Hopefully we'll have new bathrooms here shortly, and it will be reopened. So.
Right quick, Susan, I want to talk about the incidents that have been hit in some of these branches, or, dealing with the conduct of rule violation. This is in the January report.
Okay.
So are there any plans, or you all are taking the time to create maybe new policies or putting certain procedures in place to lower some of the incidents?
Well, one of the things that we have that we are working on, first of all, was filling our security guard positions. So we have 8 regular security guard positions. We have 5 of them filled. So what we're going to do is try to get some of our own security guards out at some of these, what we call hotspot places. When we only had 3 on staff, it's very hard to do. This is a 300,000 square foot building, and it's hard to get them out in the branches. So we're starting to train them so that they can go out on a more regular basis. Okay. Some of those branches do have contract security guards, but they can only do so much. So that's the biggest thing that we're doing is looking at getting more of our security out there.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just kind of curious because when I looked at this location, 82 incidents, that's a lot. So
was that for Maine?
Yes.
Yeah.
I understand for this particular locations, the different clientele around this area.
And a lot of the incidents, you have people who are sleeping, and it is what it is. We try to tactfully wake them up, blah, blah, blah. Sometimes they get unruly, and sometimes it escalates. So a lot of those escalations are, you have mental issues, you have a lot of issues going on, and it is somewhat concentrated in this building.
And the reason why I asked, I saw your police chief here on my way in, and it made me think about the climate and the huge responsibility that you have. Please send my thanks for the service.
You bet.
And one of the things that we did ask for as a number 2 priority in the operating budget this year is a safety coordinator, because Mark Crowder is, managing security, but at the same time, he's also having to do safety training for 21 locations. And so hoping that by having a safety coordinator, that will help Mark to be able to concentrate more on these other incidents that are happening.
Perfect, thank you.
So we also just had the reference staff do a survey of our lake libraries so that we can find out.
What library?
Lake libraries.
Oh,
so our lake libraries across the country, there's like 20 to 25 that we compare ourselves to so that we can see what they're doing for security. Because I don't want to bring forward, they have tasers or they have guns or anything like that before we really know what other libraries are doing as well.
Any other questions of Terry? I just had one. You said you do. I had one. I want to piggyback on one thing. The comment you made about the online information. Once we get that information, I hope we do a plan to train people to use it. I know, for example, we're working with a group of moms in the Edgehill area, and we're doing it on a lot of topics, and one of the things that they have asked for is they don't know how to use the phones for some things. that we're going to go into more workforce training because we're trying to get them jobs as well, but to try to do more training and maybe, and I'm sure this would happen through, we have opportunities all across the city, like to partner with TSU or Fisk or Belmont, Vanderbilt, wherever we are, to get people trained on how to use it. So once we know what is, we'll have a basis of comparison.
And that's why I asked for the
Yeah.
stats too, because we know all the available programs as well that is given out to the community. And, I think it should be a constant reminder of the board that we have these type of digital resources available because we are moving to a digital world.
Yes.
So we have to be equipped for that.
And Terry, the research that you're doing on security and their tools, is that something that you'll share? Is that,
Yeah, so
I know we've looked at it through time, but it sounds like a more serious, I'd like to look at it.
Sure. So Joyce and I talked, and we're going to meet because it's time for the board to have a retreat. And so that we have some topics already in mind. We'll ask you for what your topics are that you would like to discuss, but then security would be one of those topics that we would. And so we were trying to prepare for when that took place. So one last thing is the update on the Bellevue branch. We had a leak in one of the library bathrooms that resulted in water damage to the building. So a flush valve came loose and was spraying water, and approximately 75% of the library was affected. Yes. So no part of the building was submerged to any depth. Unfortunately, our collection was fine. But as you can imagine with water, you have drywall, you have flooring, and those things that one of our losses was our circulation desk. So that those things will need to be replaced. But I have to commend Jenna Smith, Annie Herlocker, Angela Brady, Jennifer Fournier, Susan, and the Bellevue staff for working together to come up with plans. Because when a library closes, there are so many moving parts. So the Bellevue holds were moved to the Green Hills branch, the same as the Edge Hill holds for pickup. Programs were canceled, but the staff was very creative in reaching out and doing programs within the community while the library's been closed. Staff were assigned to other branches until they can return to Bellevue. And the Bellevue meeting room users needed to be notified so that they didn't show up and the library was closed. And the biggest impact with these branch closings for the city is that we are an early voting site at the regional libraries, and Edge Hill is a same-day voting. So Jeremy Green at the Board of Elections, his hair is standing on edge right now because waiting to find out if Edge Hill will be ready for that to happen. So at this point, we hope to reopen Bellevue in March. Again, this wasn't anything that was within our control. We're even having to put together a temporary circulation desk so that we can open, or else we would be looking at 3 more months of not being able to open to the public. So again, this was a team effort, everyone working together to be able to get the branch back opened. And this is a general services maintained building. So,
I just said, that's all. I just said, ugh. I'm sorry. I need to just groaning.
So, but I have to say, no, I Joyce to that. Really and truly, General Services has been on top of this from the beginning. They were there, like Annie called, and they were on the site. They have given us really great communication every time and updates. So I have to say, I know sometimes it's General Services, but they have done a really good job in this case. So when I have an exact opening date, we will let you know. So that's a lot today. Sorry.
Thank you.
I have one other question. When you said that we have one bathroom operational at Edge Hill,
Yes, it's one sort of, but there's,
so in this case, do we have to have any kind of occupancy permit or anything like that for us to reopen?
it would be better if we had at least 2, but we only have the one.
So we really can't open for voting day unless we have 2. Okay.
I think we're waiting today on when the tile will arrive to be able to put that in, and then hopefully we'd be open for the voting.
Okay.
And you say 2, like men and women, a lot of places operate
Well, the one that we have right now is the staff bathroom. It's not the public.
Oh,
So.
okay. Got it. So we peppering you with a lot of questions, but we just looking at, I guess it's just concern. we want to be open, huh?
We haven't met in a while.
Yeah.
Well,
No, I mean, yeah. Mm-hmm.
and the reality is,
I mean, there to the opening.
sorry, even with Green Hills, we had a panic moment because during the weather in January, the coils broke. I'll let Susan get all the technical parts.
So at Green Hills, with our new chiller, one of the coils sprung a leak basically, and all the water drained out. Therefore, the AC part of the chiller could not come on to temperate the hot. So it was like 80 degrees in there. So you have to have both to keep it temperate. So we are working on getting a replacement coil. It has to be ordered. They don't have them out in stock. They have to be made. So hopefully we'll have that shortly.
And in the meantime, we've rented some temporary cooling units just because the weather has been warmer than normal. So.
Well, you all are. Thank you for doing all that you do. I know it's frustrating, but thank you so much. Sean.
Great. I will just update on a couple events we have coming up. On Sunday, we are doing the kickoff of our fundraising campaign for early literacy. I know you all have been hearing us talk about early literacy for a while. We are finally ready to put it out there, specifically the fundraising campaign. So I know many of you have already told us that you'll be coming. Hope you can come. Also, we'll be hearing from Linda, Liz, and some BBTL staff will be with us as well, just to talk a little bit. They're going to just give you a taste of the programmatic nature of what will be taking place with early literacy. And then we are going to have a really exciting fundraising announcement to make. And so look forward to being able to share that news with you all first. On Sunday. This is the event that had to get rescheduled because of the snow. So just to kind of jog everybody's memory, hope, though, the new date, I know it doesn't work for everybody, but we really look forward to seeing you. And it will be an opportunity for you to be aware of what's happening, because once we begin kind of officially launching this, talking about it, it could be that you're in public and you hear questions about, I heard the library's doing this, so we want to make sure that you understand the direction we're going, but also can share in the enthusiasm of how this is going to really transform the work of what we know now is bringing books to life and their ability to have an impact. They have 20 years of having an amazing impact, and it's great to be able to build on that and be able to continue that and make sure that the whole public is aware. So hope to see you there. Just a few other dates. Feel free to jot them down, but they'll be in the minutes. And Juan, if you need help, I can make sure you have them all. But because there's quite a few of them. String City is our fundraiser that's coming up March 1st. So that's next Friday night. It'll be here at the main library. You will see many of the library staff that you know and love who will be performing there. We still have tickets to sell, so if you are available, haven't gotten your ticket, it's here from 6:30 to 9:30. Secondly, I'm trying to go in, I already messed up going in chronological order. So last time we met, Joyce talked about the Black Women in Leadership coffee and tour that we did. That was very successful, so successful that the men said, what about our turn? And so we had an event on January 31st. And we had 25 Black men in leadership attend. And then they had a chance just to also get a tour of the library. And we have gotten great feedback from that as well. After the first Black Women in Leadership, we heard from some people of like, I wasn't able to come, or I didn't get an invite, I didn't know about it. So we have scheduled another one. So that is February 27th, next week. If any of you have not attended, are interested in attending, or know of somebody who you would like to attend, please give me the names. Claudia is the one on our team who's coordinated, but if you don't know Claudia, just tell me, and we would be happy to have add them to the invite. So that's just, we will probably now then, or after this, go back to doing this annually, not do it every month, but the interest was so high and strong that we felt like we wanted to at least give everybody a chance to participate. But we will go back into not doing them monthly, which is what it has been for the last couple of months. Terry talked a little bit about the budget and just the kind of good news that we've had around the budget. We are continuing to focus on that for our advocacy efforts. March 19th is a Metro Council meeting. We are hoping to have a large turnout of support for that. We will be presenting the Joint Library and Foundation Annual Report to all of the council members, so that will be available. That is at 6:30. So would love to have you make it. I am still picturing when we all joined last year. I don't know how many there were of us, but we filled a couple pews, and I think really made an impact just in recognizing the community support for the library. And I will quote Margaret Ann Robinson, who says, "I always wear red and sit in the front row." And she was very much a presence at the council meetings, and it makes a difference. So just wanted you to know of that date. And then in April, there is Take Action for Libraries Day, April 11th. And we are coordinating a system-wide thankathon where we will be sending thank you notes to council members and the mayor just for the support of the budget for this year. Let's see, last thing I'll just mention really quickly, mark your calendar. Our picnic with the library is Sunday, April 28th. This is our family-friendly fundraiser where we highlight all the amazing work that the library does with children. If you've attended in the past or aware of it, it's usually in the courtyard. Obviously, that won't be taking place this year, but the library team has been very generous to open up more spaces for us. So we will be in the children's area, but also we will be in the lobby. The theme is Wizard of Oz, so there will be a yellow brick road to follow to get to the various parts of the library that we will be, where the event will take place. That's all for me, unless there's questions.
Is there still Latina women in leadership?
Yeah. We have been working with
I know.
what's that?
I can't think of her name.
Starts with an
Renata.
Renata Soto, to try to help us figure out. She feels like instead of focusing just on Latino, Latina, she feels like for that audience, it would be best for us to do specific invitations, but to existing events that we're already doing. So we're working on targeting that population, but it's going to look different than a coffee and conversation, which we have done. So Renata has been really helpful in guiding us, but also suggesting names of people.
Okay, great. Thank you for that update. Any other questions of Sean? Okay, so we're going to the Black History Month video with Elliot Robinson.
So I am not Elliot, obviously. I get lucky to be able to brag on Elliot. Thank you first. I simply have the luck to brag on Elliot today. Everybody knows that there's no one like Nashville Public Library in town. We are the only game and the best game, as far as I'm concerned. And a big part of that is the Civil Rights Room and collection. But an even bigger part of that are the people like Elliot who bring that space to life, who make it feel like the most sacred secular space that I know of in the city. Elliot is not only committed to that space and that collection and the stories coming out of it, he's also a deeply talented vocalist. And so we got to get creative together. She was a big supporter in helping make it possible. Essentially, we turned the camera on and let Elliot do his thing for a video series, which is a journey through Black music history. And so we're going to play for you with the one that is my favorite. Giggling and cracking up aside, gentlemen, I want to say thank you, Chi, and thank you, Elliot. This is a joy to work on, and our library patrons are really enjoying it, so we really appreciate it.
Maybe a live performance.
I want to know where we get a hoodie like that. Okay, plug for the. Oh wow.
Yeah.
We like it.
One of our best models and promoters of the flag.
Is it on the website? I don't think I've
Well, let me see.
seen it.
We're just launching a new one.
If for some reason it doesn't come up, is there a way we can get a link?
Yes, so all the videos are dropping on our socials, and we can make sure that you get a link as well.
It wasn't working earlier.
No, I understand the pressure he's going through.
I know, that's what's so odd, because before we started, it was going.
Yeah.
I can do a little filler. Noelle Rutherford just, see, that's all it took.
Don't let Lee.
Yeah.
Nashville has been a center of American music since long before country music took root here. In 1871, the Fisk Jubilee Singers took on the task of saving their young youth Jubilee Singers travels through the United States and abroad, performed for England's Queen Victoria in 1873. The Jubilee Singers were able to enact the college's financial state over the course of several performance tours, to the point where they could start building permanent campus structures like the famous Jubilee Hall. Come to the Nashville Youth and listen to these and other resources about the great Fisk Jubilee Singers, to whom today we continue to give grateful appreciation for a lasting contribution, not only to Fisk University, but to America's cultural heritage as a whole.
Oh, that's nice.
Is that it?
The rest of these are running on our socials. We'll make sure that you guys get the link and thanks for watching. Pardon? I hope so, but we can.
So if you go to the civil rights room, these are playing?
Actually, it's on the library's YouTube channel, so we'll make sure that you get the link to go to the channel and watch.
So you got to be a member of some social media kind of thing to do this, right?
No, sir. For this one, it's an open YouTube channel. You don't have to log in or have a password or anything like that.
You just go to YouTube and search for.
She'll send you the
We'll
link.
send
When
you
hit
the
it,
link.
it'll.
I know, but I'm just saying if you don't have the link, how do you access? How would just a normal person access this?
Sure. So chances are you've seen it on our social media where you just click on and play it, or you're seeing it on the homepage of the library website, and then you click through to play it.
Can you send us the link?
Yes. Yeah. Okay.
Brett's here. Okay. So when our new employees are hired, they go through new employee orientation, which is run by Sherry Adams and Libby Kane, and they take them through a day of, teaching them all about the library system. But something happens along the way. Either we don't retain the information, or we are consumed with so much information that by the time they're on the job 6 months to a year to 3 years, they just lose information. And so if you go around the system and you ask someone, well, what is NASA? You'll probably get 100 explanations for NASA. Or if you say, what is bringing books to life? 1 million definitions on what bringing books to life is. And so it got me to thinking, so I thought, what if we had a living video library on the intranet to be used as a training tool for our staff so that they can go and look at these links live, and so that when we are giving out information to the public, whether we're going to parent-teacher conferences, whether the board is out advocating, that we're all speaking the same language. Because if we're speaking the same language, it adds to our credibility, it adds to our level of communication. So I charged my team to come up with these educational videos and gave them complete creative control, just basically said I wanted them to be short, concise, and effective, and they went at it. And so they are now complete, and the goal is I hope to reach out to some other administrators in a couple of months so we could start doing some videos in their areas too. So these videos will be just on the intranet for staff to look at and just remember, so that we're all saying the same thing. So Brett, he and his team put together their first video, so we wanted to preview it to the group today. So it's a lovely video.
Greetings. An amuse-bouche is a French culinary term that is defined as a small appetizer. It is dedicated to entertaining the senses. Not too much, not too little, but just enough. And as Linda said, the educational literacy divisions were tasked with creating what I believe to be a visual amuse-bouche to educate and inform those who may not be aware of what goes on and what is available within these walls. Even though this is the first of many, it is my pleasure to introduce this first entry from the Education and Literacy Divisions, from Wishing Chair Productions. A special thank you to Production Services for helping and assisting in the creation of the opening shot, but also to say that everything that you're about to see, minus one image, was documented and captured in 2023. Please enjoy.
The library's introduction to puppetry all started in 1938 when an enthusiastic 15-year-old boy named Tom Titchener staged an original marionette version of the classic Puss in Boots for the children at the Nashville Public Library. That initial performance was the beginning of his lifelong association with the Nashville Public Library that marked 50 years of enchantment. Continuing in that same tradition, Wishing Chair Productions is dedicated to the preservation, cultivation, and advancement of the puppetry arts within these walls and the community we serve. A demonstration of that commitment can be experienced in our storytime events and public puppet performances.
There's so much at the library. Every Tuesday at 9:30, 10:30, and 11:30, we offer story time right here in the Children's Theater for kids and the young at heart. Story time is a demonstration of how the power of reading can elevate, even transform the mindset of the young to engage in the most powerful tool known to mankind, the power of reading! Woo!
Reading should be an enjoyable exercise that's practiced every day. And here in the Children's Theater, we practice it very well. Experience a time all together as we sing and dance and juggle and read lots of books for the whole family. And who knows? You never know who might show up in the Puppet Playhouse. You won't want to miss it.
They're right. The programming offered by Wishing Chair Productions can leave our young friends feeling uplifted, inspired, and encouraged to start their lifelong love of reading, which is why our performances are based on books. Fridays and Saturdays are special for us here at the library because that's when puppetry comes to life through our fully realized presentations right here on the children's main stage. These presentations that are open to the public serve as an entry point for different audiences. These shows introduce the arts through the scenery, the music, and the puppets. When you combine all of these together, you'll get an unforgettable experience, one you won't forget. Thanks to visionary minds like Tom Titchener and Brian Hull, the library's puppetry legacy is secure for future generations.
Wishing Chair Productions strives to offer Nashville's increasingly diverse community a way of experiencing culturally rich content and a chance to explore themes that bring communities together.
The power of this communal experience has and will continue to sustain our program for years to come. The rarity of this type of experience propels us to continue igniting the imagination of the young and the young at heart, and bring our young friends even closer to the magic, wonder, and endless possibilities found in a book.
Anything else? Anything else? Please send us the links. We'll share. I'm proud of Loma Fisk. I get it to their marketing department. This is so great. Thank you. Nothing else?
Next month, we'll go to Edge Hill, since we were supposed to be there today.
Yeah.
So Ashley will be there to welcome us and to also share things about the library.
Nothing else? Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Needs no
Second.
second, needs no second. Thank you. Don't have to even vote on it. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
This has been a service of the Metro Nashville Network. If you would like to see this presentation again, or for more information on this and other programs, visit nashville.gov.